Right, so previously on this channel, we have spoke about many different situations involving restaurants and TikTok food reviewers. And in a lot of those situations, I have said something along the lines of, the only way that we will know for 100% fact what has happened here is if we see the security footage. But that doesn't really happen, and in fact, off the top of my head, I don't think it's ever happened from what I can remember in the situations we spoke about. But today that changes, because today we're going to be talking about a TikTok food reviewer who posted a negative review, and then the restaurant ended up responding by posting the security footage. So let me add some context to all of this, right? There's a couple of people you need to be aware of here. The first one being a user called Hudrily, I believe it's pronounced. Or as we can see, her name is Arely. Now the restaurant in question is a burger place called Hyphy Burger. There's multiple stores, but we're specifically talking about the one in East Oakland, California. But let's start with Arely's video. So it's a quick video where she talks about her experience at Hyphy Burger, and straight away she says that she was actually bothered by someone who seemingly was on drugs for about 5 minutes and the staff didn't help.
Come with me to Hyphy Burger's new location, East Oakland. As I was waiting for my food, there was somebody who was clearly on drugs who kept bothering me for 5 minutes straight. It was a very uncomfortable situation, and the workers did nothing about it.
Now, these are some key details to remember, because like I mentioned, the restaurant does respond with some, CCTV footage, right? So the first thing that Arely brings up is the fact that someone was bothering her for 5 minutes. Arely then goes on to mention that the place was dirty.
Not only that, this whole place was so dirty. There was food all over the ground. The tables were filthy.
So another key thing to remember here is that she specifically is showing this table that is right in front of her, right? We can kind of see like a receipt on the floor. There's loads of little bits on the floor, right? It looks like a bit of a mess here. Again, something that is directly responded to a bit later. And then we actually get to the food itself, where Arely says that it wasn't very nice.
I finally got to try Hyphy Burger, and it was not good. It was so salty.
Now, looking at the caption of this video, Arely also goes on to say, I really don't think this location is going to make it. Very unorganized and unsafe area. Food was 2 out of 10. Smack Burgers in San Leandro is a way better alternative. Now, it's kind of hard to tell what the comment section was like on this video before the restaurant responded, because since the restaurant responded, pretty much all the comments are talking about the response. For example, there's comments like this one saying they got effing on camera, you know. Another one saying they got you in camera. There is some comments I can see saying stuff like, I love and respect your review. So maybe people were positive about the review at first. But there is also a comment from Arely who says, commenting, what did you expect is beyond ridiculous. I expected a good hamburger from a fast food establishment. Word around town is that it's really good. As a paying customer waiting inside, why would I want to be put in an uncomfortable situation? Why would I go back if it's not good? Safe inside, and the floor/table is a mess. Arely then goes on to post another video where she actually responds to a comment and says, I like how she says food all over the ground, then shows the ground, no food. And it's literally just a 4-second video where she kind of shows a clip that we saw earlier where she shows specifically this table in front of her where there's mess. I guess there is some mess maybe over at this table as well, but as we'll see in the security footage, this place was kind of busy before Arely kind of filmed this video. We'll see. But again, we'll take a look at the caption of this video. So Arely says, am I still lying about the food on the ground? This is unacceptable, be for real. Now this is where things get interesting, right? Because Hyphy Burger responded, and it's not the kind of normal response that we see in situations like this where it's basically one person saying you're lying, then obviously the person who made the original video saying that they're telling the truth, and you kind of really don't know what's happened. It's just based on opinion. Now in this case, we actually just see the security footage, right? So straight away we see a caption on screen that says Salty Sandra left a bad review on TikTok, and the first thing that Hyphy Burger responds to is the fact that someone was bothering her for 5 minutes.
Why the fuck you lying?
As I was waiting for my food, there was somebody who was clearly on drugs who kept bothering me for 5 minutes straight. It was a very uncomfortable situation. Now this whole place...
Okay, so in the footage that we've seen, it doesn't look like anyone goes up to her and kind of bothers her, right? But we do actually have another response from Arely after this, where she is still doubling down on the fact that someone did bother her. So I do think it's important to note here that we haven't seen the whole security footage of the whole time that Arely was there, right? But in the footage that we have seen, obviously that didn't happen. Now the next part of the security footage is actually probably the most damning part of it all, because as we mentioned in Arely's video, she says that the place was a mess and she was specifically focusing on this table right in front of her. But in Hyphy Burger's response, we actually see that there was a group of people sat at that table, and basically as soon as they left, Arely brought our phone and started filming the table.
Now this whole place was so dirty. There was food all over the ground. The tables were filthy.
And then, yeah, she gets the phone out and films. I mean, that is not a good look. I don't even know how you would really defend that, right? Because clearly by the footage, she literally waited until the group of people left, when of course there's a chance that there could be a mess, right? The staff haven't had a chance to do anything yet. And straight away, she brings out a phone to film it, and that was a big part of her review, right? I mean, she made a second video just talking about the mess. And I mean, I will just skim through it here. I'll mute it, but we can kind of talk over it. But you see, the group of people do leave this table right here, and then more people start leaving, right? So clearly this place was pretty busy before Arlie actually started filming, right? I mean, again, I've actually just paused it as more people are leaving again. So the fact that there's mess here, you just can't blame the staff at all. I mean, people have just left. Have your burger then go on to show that the staff ended up cleaning the tables less than 5 minutes after the group of people left? So yeah, based on the footage that we're seeing right here, I'm really not sure how you could defend what Arlie has done here, right? It really does look like she genuinely just waited till a group of people left to film the mess that they left, that the staff hadn't had a chance to even clean up yet, just to kind of like frame them and make them seem like a dirty place. Now, as for the previous claim which said that someone was bothering her for 5 minutes, I don't think that is as concrete because we don't see the full footage of the time that she was there. So there is the chance that that has been cut out, but we don't know that for a fact, right? We don't really know exactly what's happened there, but we will see Arlie's response in just a second. Now, to end this video, Hyphy Burger's going to respond to Arlie saying that the food wasn't very nice.
I got to try Happy Burger and it was not good. It was so salty.
Oh my god. Stop your fucking lying.
Yes, we can actually see here the video ends with a caption saying, look how many customers of all ages we have. Of course, it's going to be a little mess when they get up. And in fact, you can actually see Arlie in the background. So this is how busy it was when she first got there. As for the text on screen regarding the food itself, they've said, claimed it was salty. Why it kind of looked good though. Everyone got different tastes, I guess. I mean, yeah, this is like a very subjective thing, right? She might have just not liked the food. Now, looking at the captions video, Hyphy Burgers went on to say, we take our cleanliness very serious. So when this video started circling, we knew something was off, especially since Salty Sandra claimed it was only 2 customers. So we looked back at the cameras and the dining area was completely packed full of wonderful customers who had happened to leave a little mess behind and started recording before the last customer even stepped out. She also claimed there was someone bothering her for 5 minutes. There was literally no one. Then we wanted to see how long it took our employees to clean the mess. It was only 4 minutes after the rush. This was obviously targeted to hurt our new business and staff that we are training for the grand opening in a couple of weeks. Oh, right, so I guess at this point they haven't even fully opened, right? Some people just don't have anything to do except try to tear the next person down because they aren't feeling themselves too well. That video definitely hurt our business, but with this proof, we would appreciate you guys to come support us. Thank you. Now, one thing I have just noticed that I think is also important to note, right, is the whole like 5 minutes later that the table got cleaned. Obviously, they mentioned that it was 5 minutes after the rush died down and not exactly 5 minutes after Arlie filmed the video, right? Because if we actually look at the timestamps, we can't really see the full timestamp on the first clip, but we can see that it's 14 minutes past something. And then the next clip where we can see the full timestamp, it's 27 minutes past 3. So based on that, I'm assuming it was about 13 minutes after Arlie filmed the clip. And also looking at the last clip of the video, we can see Arlie's in the background here, and the timestamp is 12 minutes past 3. So yeah, I mean, that does all make sense with the timestamps that we're seeing. Now, after this video was posted, Arlie's comment section was just flooded with people giving their opinions on this, right? There's a lot of comments like this one saying, you haven't posted since the camera footage, lol, what happened? You did all this for free food. We'll explain that in just a second. They just showed their security cameras and I'm on their side. Was the person bothering you in the room with everyone, or was this just someone you could see? You literally recorded this right after a group of 12 people left. I mean, that is definitely the one clear, like, concrete fact that we've got out of this from seeing the footage, is that she did record the mess straight after the group of people left. Now, Arlie did go on to respond to a comment and says, they could have reached out to me to invite me for a better experience as a customer. Now, a lot of people have took that as she means that they should have invited her back to get free food. Now, she doesn't directly say that, but that's how people have took it, and that's where you'll see the comments of people saying you did this for free food. And now this is where we get into the newest update, and this was actually posted a day ago as I'm recording this. I did actually see this kind of all play out almost in real time, but I was waiting for Arlie to maybe like respond in a video, which she hasn't done, but what she has done is answer some questions on the San Francisco Standard. And in the article, it goes on to say that the Hudrally account is run by Arlie, who declined to share her last name, citing safety concerns. She has fewer than 1,500 TikTok followers and does not consider herself an influencer, but says content creation is a hobby. It then goes on to say that the restaurant manager, Steven Hernandez, said that he was shocked when he learned of the review. When we heard someone had been getting harassed and that the restaurant had been extremely dirty, that was concerning. Hernandez said he and the owners checked the restaurant's CCTV footage and found that it did not align with Arlie's version of events. It then goes on to explain the response video that we've already took a look at, and then goes on to say, Arlie stands by her claims, telling the Standard that she was approached by a man who emerged emerged from the restaurant's bathroom. He was a young guy, maybe around 20 years old, and he came out of the restroom with a huge yellow bong, which we didn't see in the footage, but again, maybe that's been cut out. As he passed, he greeted her and asked how she was doing. She responded and he quickly apologised for bothering her. The interaction then devolved as he raised his voice and repeatedly apologised. Notably, the CCTV footage released by the Hyphy Burger owners has no audio. He just kept saying it over and over again, which made me feel uncomfortable because he was being very loud. Even the workers were looking at him funny. We were a couple feet apart, but everyone could hear him. Now, I would definitely be interested to know if Hyphy Burgers are planning on releasing the whole CCTV footage, right? Because, I mean, this can be proved for 100% fact if it happened or not. I've got to say, it is interesting that she's mentioned this after the security footage had been released, right? Because she knows at this point that they have the security footage and they're willing to release at least some of it at this point. So if she was doing this interview and just straight up lied about the fact that someone was walking around with a big yellow bong, which you would definitely be able to see in the footage, it would obviously be very stupid to lie about that, knowing fine well that they might release the footage that proves that you're lying. But again, we don't know exactly what's happened here because we didn't get to see the full footage, and the only way that we would really know is if the full footage actually gets released, which maybe it might. Despite the backlash, she has no plans to delete her post. I'm keeping it up because I'm not going to let Hyphy Burger silence me. She said she believes the owners posted the CCTV video as a way to shame her for sharing her opinion and to bring in more business. They never reached out to me, but they did follow me on Monday, and then the next day they unfollowed me, Arely said. I'm not an influencer. At the time my video only had 40,000 views, but now it has like 200,000 views because of their response. So that's all the information that we have up until now. Again, I'll be very interested to know if Hyphy Burgers does end up responding and does release a full footage. There was 3 main claims from the original video, and one of them is subjective because it's just the taste of food. One of them, to me, has been pretty much disproven completely, right? The fact that it was messy. I mean, it was messy at the time, I guess, but the fact that she actually pulled out a phone as soon as people left, not a good look. And then there's the guy walking around with a bong who bothered her for 5 minutes, which we don't really have full answers to yet. Now, with that being said, I would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below on what you think has happened here, who do you think is the wrong, the right, all that stuff, what do you think will happen next, and yeah, if you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff, and until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.